Hi friends, let's take a look at Tezos together. I was having a bit of a laugh yesterday, you might have enjoyed it. I called the video Tezos, the coin that's like Link but better, yay. And I just did it to kind of troll the Link fans out there. So that when I tweeted it and we retweeted it, hey, shout out to Ross, by the way, and all the fantastic people like G-Boy who retweet my tweets. So thank you so much to all of you. By the way, all of you, because I see it on Twitter coming up and I appreciate it massively. What was I talking about? Yeah. So I thought whenever you retweet that and everything, you might have a little chuckle like, haha, the coin that's better than Link. That'll annoy some people. But of course, the Marines are far more self-controlled than the XRP army. So of course there was no backlash at all. I think they probably just saw it for what it was, which was a joke. And if they watched the video, then they'll have seen that the chat was that we're making the comparison between how Link and Tezos look quite similar at the minute. And that makes sense. And we talked about this in the sort of the combined videos that we did last week and sort of the big, the big videos, the big ones. The look across the markets. Anyway, we've had this head and shoulders effort play out towards the downside. We've come in here, found support at our fuzzy line, and we've got to ask a couple of questions. You can see here how we wicked down the way, but had closes that were higher. Over here, there's some wicks, but there's closes that are lower. That's kind of like one of the first things that you can kind of look and you kind of like think to yourself when you see things like this happening. Probably a touch of the old divergence in there. If we bring up the RSI, then you can see that indeed while we were closing lower than we were before, that we were not achieving it down here on the RSI. Of course, we weren't. That kind of, you're going to see these things. You're going to get more used to seeing these things across time. And of course, you'd expect to see some in there. And that's what we've seen. What we've seen here as well is that the DMI, that the negative came up, the DM minus came up to the 55, 52 area, wherever. I've got a wee line in there. You see that? Is that a 50? Is it just a 50? Came up to 50. If we look over to the left, you can see instances in the past where we've come up to 50. Down here, then we got a bit of a turnaround. It's hard to see on the charts. It's hard to see. I appreciate it. So we had this wick all the way down here to 2,700. We did come back down again a few times and visit it, but afterwards, we went up to 2,000, near enough 3,000. So you're looking at having had 10% opportunities to trade there towards the top side whenever those things happen. So just as a brief kind of like, you watch the episodes, right? Everybody knows that watch these episodes that I don't script them out beforehand, right? I don't have time for that. I actually trade this stuff as well. I want to be getting on with my day. It takes ages to make the videos and to do everything, time, right? But also, I think this gives people confidence that they can see that they can do it themselves. It's like an example. You get to work through the charts kind of with me. You can see things and see the process, and that there, seeing the man behind the curtain, so to speak. You get more experience, right, doing these things together. So I think that it helps. I think it's a good thing, rather than kind of having come up with some narrative beforehand that I want to sort of shove down your throats. Instead, we kind of discover the narrative ourselves as it happens to be. Now, whatever that happens to be. So if it says it's going to shit the bed, then we're just going to say, hey, look, so, rather than coming in with some sort of like narrative, right? So that's what that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just looking up, and you can see every time that we've come up and either gone to the 40 or the 50 really here on this, that there's been some sort of inflection in the market. So up here, we had the DM negative went to 50, for instance, came down here and we saw a little bottom coming in. Okay, so it came in subsequently to it, but because this is lower than this one, and the price action was lower than this one, and this oscillator wants to always be higher all the time, regardless of the direction, then you're seeing that there is actually a bullish divergence coming into play there as that then turned around at that point. So, this can be kind of useful for us, right? Can we agree on that? And let's just move on, can we? And that we're doing okay here. Can we agree on that we're doing okay as well? By the way, just yet again, massive shout out to everybody on things. And I've got this here set up, by the way. Ekram, if you watch this video, I don't know what video, giving you a shout out in all videos today. I don't know anything about you. I don't know where you're from, your gender, anything. Let me know all of that chat. Leave a comment at some point. Just wanted to say massive thank you for having shown your support there and joined the channel. I'd be embarrassed if you've already said something to me in the Discord. I'll have to go and check that. Oh God, now I'm actually so embarrassed. I'll have to check it now. Right, but that's opening up in the background. I'll check that in a minute. But so thanks to everybody who supports the channel, whatever way you do, by the way, whatever way you do. There's no pressure on anybody to do anything. So the likes of Ross, who's really gone out on a limb for me in a sense, it's like because he, discovered this fairly new YouTuber looking at this coin that's not got, very many people out there to draw a contrast between and whatever else. And you've just, you've bet on me and I massively appreciate it. I massively appreciate it. Sometimes I'll say Ross, by the way, instead of Ross. I don't know what's wrong with my stupid brain. Honestly, I don't know why I say that. I think maybe because I lived in Ireland for a while in a place called Ross Trevor, and in my head I always called it kind of Ross Trevor, right? Because it's easier for me to just go Z instead of Ross Trevor. It's easy because of the way I say S's with me being from Sean Connery, and I have to put in a conscious effort to avoid putting in that whistle sound every time I say the letter S. So that's what I think. That's what that is, by the way. But I'm sure you don't care about full disclosure. And what am I doing? This episode is turning out terrible. Right, great. We've been supported by this area. Bit of bullish divergence. First 30 seconds of the video, everything we've kind of seen so far. Sure, volume here is diminishing as we come down. Is this stopping volume? Do we have enough of that on the go to say that this is perhaps stopping volume? Yeah, sure. I think maybe we could say that, and maybe we could look towards things like how this has come up to this very extended zone, and maybe it's going to move back ground again, as we have seen in terms of things like whenever the DM positive, the yellow one, came up here with the ADX and whatnot, when we were putting in toppy areas, maybe we'll find ourselves putting in a bottomy area. Okay, that makes today's video a little bit different from the rest of the videos that we've had in the recent past. So always fresh content, always a bit of value to be taken away there on that one. We can check in here with our pal, the dollar pairing, and see how we're doing. And we come back down to this zone again, right? So of course, what are we at the minute? 280. So yeah, of course, this is offering up people buying opportunities. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Offering up people buying opportunities who are looking to sort of play the statistical likelihood is that these patterns tend to fail more than that they tend to be successful. I don't care what the weatherman says. If the weatherman says it's raining, if that's your attitude, you maybe want to just spend your time longing Head and Shoulders rather than shorting them. If that's how you operate, of course, I wouldn't recommend that as a trading strategy for anybody necessarily. But I don't care what the weatherman says. If the weatherman says it's raining, what we did here was we had speculatively, will we have an ascending triangle on the go here? Well, we didn't, and when we kind of broke out of it, we went down the way and put in a low thereafter. So while this is in a sense useless, it's such a useless piece of crap, Rocky, that you put on the charts. It's useless, this ascending triangle. A failed pattern is as good as a confirmed pattern, and a breakout of these things doesn't have to be towards the top side, can be of the bottom side, blah blah blah. And the textbooks would tell you to do to take the measuring stick, stick it over there, go to about the 50% of the measuring stick, whatever. They don't tell you to use measuring sticks. That's my chat, and that would take you exactly precisely to the penny in there to 273 again, whatever. I'm obviously being a little bit sort of silly with doing that, but that's that. If we do see us going for a full measured move off the back of this thing, then maybe perhaps we're actually sort of playing, we're dicing our luck at that point. Is that a phrase? I think it sounds like it might just be something from a book I've read. We're dicing our luck. Sounds good. I like it. So, yeah, chancing our luck is the phrase. Chancing our luck. We're dicing our luck. Yeah, I made that up. I'm an idiot. So we're looking. If we go down below 270, things could get pretty poopy pantsy time, right? That's what we're talking about there. Elsewise, I like saying that. It's better than otherwise, isn't it? You got to admit. If we go up above this, then, and we actually do this ascending triangle thing, and then and move towards the top side, you could say, yeah, we just completed the pattern after all. You could also do other things like just simply draw it up from here, accounting for the wicks. Instead of like the bodies. So if we go for the wicks there and then take this over to the right, and you could say that maybe we'll be tuning in here to watch Rocky Outcrop's daily technical analysis for the Tezos coin, and having the same chat over and over and over again, until such times as we do. If we did build up a move out of this thing and it actually took us up towards the top side, then you could be looking at our previous area of highs, the 310s, going up towards the median line of that channel in the background, which you might be interested in. But I made it not visible in the 24-hour time frame. Cool. What do we need to talk about here? Just Ekram. Just need to go back and talk about Ekram again. My mate Ekram. my best pal, my only friend in the world, who decided that they would want to show some value back to the channel by in that feedback loop sending me back some coinage to say cheers and be an early supporter of the channel and all that jazz. And he's getting a shout out here because credit where it's due. That guy's a legend. So thank you so much for that. And I think it's cool. You know, I'm obviously not doing this for the incomes. By the way, I'm doing the trading for that. You might have noticed. I'm interested in this. And you might have noticed that I've been doing okay at it. You might have noticed those things. By the way, actually, and if you do ever wonder, why does he never show his positions? I'll never do that. I frankly find that to be morally reprehensible. I think that it's the wrong thing to do. All it does is create FOMO, has people cast an opinion over their own account by looking at somebody else's account who's in a position of authority, essentially, which is what I'm doing here by putting myself up here on this pedestal. So I don't do that sort of stuff. I never will. It's not my gig. But there are other people out there who'll say to you lines that go along the lines of, how could you trust anybody on YouTube that's doing technical analysis, you know, when really they just want to I've not watched enough YouTube on technical analysis on YouTube, I think, to remember the line. You probably know what it is more than I'm talking about. Essentially that you want to show your account so that people know that you're legit, right? As opposed to someone like Tony Vase, who is very questionable. Probably a great guy. Hope to meet him one day. Whatever. Probably really great guy. Probably telling me that I'm talking shit right now. But the thing is, kind of gives you that impression where it's like, is he just making money from YouTube? You know? Which he may well be doing. Because you know, they might well be doing that. But I trade. But if you want to support the channel because, you know, you want to send some value back the way, keep me motivated and all the rest of it, and eventually then it'll add up to doing stuff like, you know, creating a bit of stability in my own life, you know, that I'd be able to have that to sort of always fall back on, so to speak. That's actually the last thing I ever thought about. But probably just use it to pay bills and that and have stability and be able to take holidays and time off and all that sort of stuff. And just a bit more better, healthier balance in my life, that money, that's what that'll do. If it ever adds up to anything. I really don't know if it'll ever add up to anything. Probably won't. It's just not going to be much, but whatever, right? I do this for that. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I really appreciate the 3 gesture levels that I've made if people want to make gestures, and I think that somebody paying for me to have a cup of coffee this month or whatever, like Outcrop has done, is brilliant, right? Just think it's straight up brilliant. It's been years having worked for myself and been a trader, been self-employed and all the rest of it. It's actually been years since anybody's handed me money to, you know, as a result of doing some work, which is what this kind of is, you know, or whatever. It's just really bizarre feeling. So, you know, it makes me feel really special. Really, really, really special. So yeah, cheers. That's it. That's basically all I wanted to say in this episode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I don't know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode and all that too. I hope you enjoy all of the episodes. What am I saying? What am I saying? I've really, truly, you know, I've done it now, haven't I? So like, if you're still here, then, what am I saying? Because this is it. I have to come up with something. Oh yeah, great. Scraping the barrel. How are we doing over here? Yeah, sweet. Great. Well, yeah, we're still doing just like we thought. How much time do I spend looking at the Ethereum pair? Nobody cares, right? I say it every time. If anybody ever cared, they'd let me know. We only come in here to check up on how, you know, are we killing the giants yet? This is the David versus Goliath fight, and obviously in the run up to all of this, you know, this has been everybody checking out how big Goliath is and looking at scrawny little David thinking it's not going to do anything. But are we swinging it around? Are we going to actually, you know, hit him right between the eyes and go up towards these 3 levels just here where, you know, which is the easy part of the VPVR, so to speak, and you know, clear zones from before and actually turn things around with off the back of this 24-hour time frame, quite distinct bullish divergence if this turns out to be a low. Of course, if this goes towards the downside, what you'll just simply see happening is the divergence fading away as these things move down. That's why it's premature to say it. If you do see it go towards the top side, This confirmed as a local low, bullish divergence, all the rest of it, go up here, stamp on its face, and then you know that scene from Game of Thrones where the really, really big guy gets the other guy, the mountain gets the other guy, and then crushes his skull with his hands. That maybe will happen in and around about that 13 area, because if we zoom right back out again and remember that this David versus Goliath fight is actually the shoes on the other foot, if we just look here, because this has been trending towards the top side essentially versus Ethereum its entire existence, and what we're looking at here is the potential for this to start to trend towards the downside. But if this turns around in the way that we're talking about, ultimately what you'd be saying is, well, hey, look, how many times are you going to say there's a higher low or a higher high? And when you're looking at such broad time frames, such as the weekly time frame, and we go back into the weekly time frame there, and it clears things right up for us, where we have low, high, higher, low. Okay, so that was a lower high. But then, and that was a higher, higher high. So actually low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Up here all the way up to higher high, but then this is a low, and are we going to be higher low than that one? Yeah, that's what I was kind of building up to saying there, or not, or move towards the top side. And well, we can see this kind of start to happen under these circumstances quite easily, right? That's what it could happen. It could all also go completely to pot, by the way, and collapse down the way. But then again, like I say, nobody's trading this. Instead, we're trading against the dollar and against the Bitcoin, I imagine. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if anybody does that. I asked Binance as well, when are you going to give us an Ethereum Tezos pair? Because we've got plenty on there. They didn't get back to me. I would really like it if they did that, though. I think a lot more people would trade the pair if it was there. It would certainly increase the volume, I think, across for people who, whatever. My God, this is one of the worst episodes ever. I'll probably get the worst. This is basically just a big shout out to Ekram. Cheers, Ekram. This will be some real bad stats on this episode, by the way. I'm not in it for the stats. I'm actually in it just for the friendship, mostly overall, and this sort of thing. By the way, if you want to know, by the way, with the membership thing, the only people who'll get to see in the future, what I'm going to do is make it so that the only people who get to see the bonus coin videos will be the ones who are members, and they get to suggest them, they get to watch them. The stats won't matter on them. It's just if people want to see it talking, they value it and everything else, then that's what I'll do. I think maybe something like that. I'm not sure. I don't really care. I think I was quite clear about the whole proposition that you don't really get many perks for being a member other than that you get my eternal gratitude, because this is it. It's talking about it's distracted me so much from the price action. Genuinely makes me wonder if I should even publish this video or not. But I'm going to. So I should stop wasting time thinking about it, and that'll help. Okay, cool. Catch you next time. Cheers. I've been Rocky Outcrop. YouTube.com/Rocky Outcrop if you want to share it with your friends, which I know you do.